What's going on, guys? This is Asher bringing you a video on 5 things and tips about Reinhardt that'll definitely help your game out a little bit, or maybe a lot depending on what level you're on. Go ahead and leave a like down below if any of these things you can relate to or you agree with. If you've got any other suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Let's get right into this. So first up, and this was fairly new, but you can actually, as you can see here, actually if you right click and hold up your shield and then left click, you can actually move around with your camera, and you can even move your character while playing with your shield up. So that'll definitely allow you to kind of have more range of visibility. Now what I want to show you here is when you left click and swing, you can actually put up your shield at almost any time in that animation. So what that allows you to do is pretend to swing and fake out the other Reinhardt player. And when it comes to fighting enemies, as you'll see here, you can hit them. I'm just getting some alt charge here, but what you can do is you can hit them and pretend to hit them. You see there, and just kind of doing a little dance with them. But you can, hit them, and as soon as you hit them, you can put your shield back up. So if you're like kind of in a pickle or you're trying not to take too much damage, that's another like little mini trick to do to kind of just hit the player and then put your shield right back up. Definitely suggestible in a fight where the enemy's pushing you if you're trying to get a little bit of poke damage, but make sure you are letting your team know that you're going to try to do that, because you don't want them standing right behind you, and that's basically what'll happen. So the next thing right here is basically, you see what I'm doing here? Don't do that. Don't be that guy that decides to, just charge into the team because they think that they can get the kill on the Reinhardt or something like that. The only time you should ever charge into the other team is if your team is right next to you pushing into a point. Or if you're on defense and your team is right next to you. Notice how I'm saying right next to you, because if they're like maybe all spread out and you're going in alone, you are going to die. If you have a Zarya and you know that she's going to be like looking after you or whatever, that's fine, but just make sure you're able to get out. But yeah, definitely don't just charge right in because you think you can get a kill. 9 out of 10 times, you won't. Trust me, I know. I used to do that all the time. I still do that sometimes, but it's important that you let your team know when you're going to drop your shield. So right here you can see my team's kind of just up in the front. I charge in here, try to get the Brigitte, but I'm not able to. But as you can see here, the team's just, it's a team fight. I'm trying to keep my shield up so my team doesn't die. I've got no health. Meanwhile, I back up. I tell my team, you can't hear this, but I'm telling my team right now, I'm like, hey guys, look, I need health. Please help me out. So it's really important that you are acknowledging the fact that that your shield is going to die. You can see here my shield's at half health. Tell your teammates, my shield's at 500, my shield's at 1k, my shield's 1.5. Tell them so they know, oh, I probably shouldn't stand behind the Reinhardt. He's about to drop his shield. Because if you have a soldier standing behind you, and the reason why I say soldier is because 9 out of 10 times, again, trust me, and that was a really sick McCree flash, but ignore that. Almost every time when I drop my shield, a soldier gets sniped by a Widow. We didn't even know the other team has a Widow, and the soldier's getting sniped. And any of you soldier players out there, like, just let me know in the comments, like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because it happens all the time. There's mercies. Any DPS player in general knows exactly what I'm talking about, because they're usually standing behind the Reinhardt, and their Reinhardt just drops a shield. So you can see right here, obviously I'm going to hold my shield up because we're in a graph, but I push forward with my shield up. I fire strike. Even though it might seem annoying to do, say to your team, I'm about to fire strike. That charge right there was the dumbest thing you could ever do, because now I'm in the team, the enemy team. My team wasn't coordinated. Obviously, this is a quick play, but in general, you still want to tell people. But as you can see here, I'm trying to block for my team. That's another really important thing. Blocking for your team. If you don't always have to be swinging as Reinhardt. Reinhardt is a tank first. You shouldn't be trying to go in and do all the damage. And so if you see your team is out in front of you, jump forward, put your shield up. This right here, I don't know what happened. As you can see, that's what I'm saying. Don't just charge in the enemy while alone. Yeah, perfect example there. But definitely don't just start swinging at the enemy whenever you're in a team fight. You should have your shield up, I'd say at least 50% of a team fight. Because what that does is it prevents your team from taking a lot of damage, prevents you from taking a lot of damage, and if there's any... yeah, that happened, but Yeah, that was the luckiest charge I think I've ever gotten in a long time. But if that ever happens, where you're just kind of in the team fight swinging, just remember, hey, Astrozerg said to do this. Yeah, just hold your shield up. Your team will thank you for it. Even if you don't have gold damage, you're still helping the team. If you have 20,000 damage blocked, you're doing pretty well, unless you're just holding your shield up just to suck up damage. So you see here, I just jumped in front of the Roadhog, who was way up there, in order to keep him alive. I kind of just position myself in a spot so our team doesn't take too much damage. But the last thing is about the combos. If you're playing Reinhardt, you want to know when to combo with your team. A lot of times you can just kind of Earth Shatter, I almost said Earth Strike. You can Earth Shatter just kind of one or two players on the other team. That's another thing real quick. You don't always have to get a team wipe with an Earth Shatter. You can literally hit a Mercy with your Earth Shatter. Worth it. Done. He charges it so fast. It's no problem. But you always want to make sure you know when you can combo. Because if you got a Zarya on your team, that's a common one. Sometimes a little unnecessary. But if you have a Zarya on your team, that can help. If you've got a Pharah, you might Earth Shatter the team, and then Pharah comes in, gets him down. Pretty easy. One thing you want to do, though, if you're comboing with the Zarya, always try to Earth Shatter the Zen. If you Earth Shatter Zen, he can't pop his trans fast enough, and you can try to kill him quickly. Your team, if your team is coordinated, obviously, which takes a lot of skill because it's competitive, but your team should be able to all push on the Zen and hopefully get him before he can use trans, allowing you to kill the team. But a few unknown or uncommon or rare combos that you may or may not see. Speaking of Mei, you've got Mei, and she... oh, I'm so funny, aren't I? And she, her ability, if you Earth Shatter before she ults, you actually can get a pretty decent Mei ult there. And again, a really lucky charge there. But if you ult, and then Mei throws out her thing, people can't escape fast enough, she can get a lot more people. Obviously, a lot of people don't play Mei in comp, but that's whatever. Sombra is another good one. A lot of times people will talk about Sombra and Zarya, but Sombra and Reinhardt's a really good one. If you hack that shield, boom, done. Any shields are now gone. Orisa, it's a little harder to do this, and I just watched myself. The reason why I paused, because I literally just watched myself do, I think for the 4th time this game, charge right into the enemy. It's quick play. I totally wasn't trying. But with Orisa, it's not easy to do. It takes verbal communication, and you can't just shoot it out and hope it'll work. But with Orisa Rein, if you're doing that strategy, you can actually shoot out her tiny little graviton and suck people together. And what that does is, if you shoot it up in the air, Reinhardt's Earth Shatter can go under it. I mean, it's a whole lot of process, but Reinhardt's Earth Shatter can basically kind of negate anything else, and so you're able to, even if you only suck up the Reinhardt. If you suck up Reinhardt, Reinhardt's Earth Shatter can kill Reinhardt. Yeah, which one? Reinhardt can actually Earth Shatter underneath the other Rein's shield, and then you get their team. So that takes a lot more communication verbally, which usually means you're going to be somebody you're comfortable playing with. But those are definitely, that's a very rare one. You really won't see that unless you're watching very good gameplay. Very quickly before I go, make sure that if you don't let your shield break. Do not let your shield completely break. If it does, that sucks, because you can't put it back up and block any quick damage. But if you let it break, it'll take a couple seconds to recharge back to 800, and then you're kind of screwed. If you just drop it, even if it's at 2 health, that 2 health could block a D.Va ult or something like that. But that's going to be all for Reinhardt. Hopefully next I can either do a D.Va. I've got a couple ones set up. Just let me know in the comments what you want me to do next. I can get it for you easily. It just takes me a little bit of play. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe down below and turn on notifications so that you can see when I upload those videos. Leave a like down below again and again. Also, just comment any situations that you can agree with me on or disagree with me on. But that's going to be all. I am Astrozerg. See ya on the next one.
He did.